Guys, welcome to a new YouTube video. This is my first ever Q&A, and the reason that I'm doing that today is because after a year of posting consistently on YouTube for you guys, I have finally hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I couldn't be prouder because I've put so much work, so much intention into these videos and sharing my life with you guys, but I still think you probably don't know me that well. Even though I've put videos about my story, etc., I wanted to know what you guys wanted to know about me so that I could answer it and give you guys a little bit more clarity about who I am, what I do, and what my life looks like. I'm very blessed to be in beautiful Kyrgyzstan to do this today. I took the 10 most asked questions I asked you on Instagram to give me some questions that you wanted to know the answers to. We had like 55 to 60 replies, and so I took the 10 most asked questions and I'm going to answer them in no particular order. So the first one that I had here was, what was your first ever paycheck from setting and how did it feel? My first ever paycheck from setting, I've talked about this in a different video, was 400 euros in 1 month, and it was after my first 8 months of working for free for my mentor Callum. After that happened, I had a transition time of like 1 to 2 months where I didn't have an offer, and then he placed me working for the company of one of his friends, but at the time I didn't even know really what a commission was, etc., because I had just worked for free for over 6 months and ended up accepting a deal of 400 euros per month for that company. It wasn't a lot, it wasn't much, but it felt so powerful. It was the first time where I felt like that service, that skill could actually give me money and give me a place to go from where I was. So it felt absolutely amazing, and it was 400 euros in a month. Next question, what were you doing right before you became an appointment setter? How broke were you really? So right before I was an appointment setter, I was in uni. After 3.5 months of uni, I decided to drop out. I realized very quickly that it just wasn't the thing for me. It wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. That's when I discovered appointment setting. But truth be told, and I've told you this in other videos as well, I wasn't broke per se. I was just an 18-year-old who didn't have money like most 18-year-olds. But I was always very blessed. I was born into a very privileged situation. My parents did really good for themselves, and so did the rest of my family. But I was more broke as in a condition of my mind. My mind was constantly looking for ways to live a better life, and I just couldn't find one. So my answer to this is I wasn't so much broke in my wallet, but I was really broke in my mind. I didn't know where to go. I was lost. I had no direction. And appointment setting gave me a new, breath of fresh air, so to say. What's the most you've made in a single month from setting? Okay, so I'm gonna do this from setting specifically and not from any of my coaching program or any setting management. So the most I've done from setting personally myself, just from setting appointments, was, if I'm not mistaken, in March 2025, where I made $15,332 in a single month. And that was setting for 3 offers. I had a lot of leverage, so I wasn't working too much. And I also dropped a full vlog in Albania, where I was there for a week during that month after making the 15K in a month, which was pretty crazy. And that was all through setting, zero management, zero coaching, 1000% made through appointment setting myself. What expenses come with this lifestyle that people don't think about? Well, that's a really good question, because a lot of people, even I, when I started, I thought 1-2K a month would be enough to go live in Thailand. And it surely is if you don't get used to the good things, right? Like 1-2K a month is going to be a lot of money to live in Bali or Thailand if you're eating like a local, living like a local. The problem is once you start trying to live that luxurious life, because you realize that everything is cheaper there, so you start getting massages every day, you go out for meals every day. And for example, last month I was in Bali and I was probably spending 100 to 150 euros a day on food for me and someone else. So the reason that I was spending that much was also because I just wasn't really living like a local. But most people don't realize that when you hear Bali is cheap, Thailand is cheap, it is if you're wanting to live like a local. If you want to live the luxurious lifestyle with massages and villas, it's always going to come at a cost, which for me is 100% worth it. But you have to keep that in mind when you're starting your journey and thinking about, oh, I want to go travel, right? What separates someone who makes 1K a month versus 10K a month in this space? Really good question. And essentially, it all comes down to one thing, which is who you know. Because the skill set between making 1K a month to 10K a month is not as different as you might think if you're just starting out. Truth is, the difference between the guy who makes 1, 2, or the guy that makes 8 to 10K is literally just the people he knows. And what I mean by this is, if you know the right people, you're automatically able to get into the right rooms, get into the right offers. And once you do that, you're literally ahead of everyone else, whether your skill set is there or it isn't. I've seen appointment setters make 10 to 12K with a very shitty skill set, all because they were on the right offer. But the thing is, it's not 2016 anymore. So the way you get the right offer is not outreaching, but it's actually having a solid network of people around you, right? That's obviously what I give my students, is a really solid network of people that I've built so that they don't have to do it themselves, because it took me more than 3 years to build that, and it probably would take you the same amount of time. So yeah, that's the main thing that separates someone making 1K from someone making 10K. It's literally just the people that they know, their network. What major were you working towards at uni, and did you enjoy it? Well, I was working towards a mechanical engineering bachelor's degree in university. And I'll be 100% honest, if I hadn't had all these ideas and if I didn't start thinking about other ways of making money, I think I actually quite enjoyed what I was doing there. I was always okay and enjoyed physics and mathematics a little bit, and it was mostly that. And it was done well in that university. It was very practical. You know, I remember the days used to be blocked into 8 hours. So it was 2 hours of theory in the morning, 2 hours of exercises about that like theoric class, and then same thing in the afternoon about a different chapter or a different basically like area, right? So it was quite interesting. I genuinely enjoyed it at the time, but I just couldn't see myself living a life where I didn't have at least some control over what I was doing. Because let's be honest, everyone's like, oh, you be your own boss and do this and do that. When you're a setter, most likely you're not really gonna be your own boss. You're still gonna be working for someone else. But just the fact that it's remote and the fact that you can make more money than with normal jobs, so to say, or 9-to-5 jobs, just gives you that extra little bit of freedom, which for me was all I needed, right? And now obviously I'm at a point where I don't have a boss, but to actually get to that point where you don't have a boss, you first have to go through a point of transition and realizing you don't want to be in the normal world, so to say, in terms of your career. And that's when you can take the step and start moving towards a world where there's more freedom, more leverage, more opportunities to actually make good money and travel. What does a real monthly range look like for you in terms of money? So right now I am averaging in my pocket around, let me just think about the last few months. I would say anywhere from 20 to 30, basically $20,000 to $30,000. Yeah, I'd say that's the main thing. The main reason is because I invest so much into my team and into getting results for my students, so I don't keep most of the money that I make. But I think there was another question about that, so I can answer that right now, just to explain to you guys how I spend my money a little bit. So what are your goals now after you have money? This was the one. So for me to answer this with like clarity, I want to tell you guys exactly how I spend my money. I can be very honest about this. I basically spend 60 to 70% of my money reinvesting into my company, meaning I reinvest into getting better results for my students, getting better people on the team to get more results for the students. That's how I spend most of my money, right? Then I have the rest of my money that basically gets invested into whatever else. I travel, I eat good food, I pay for dinners for my friends and the people I love, and most of the money at the end of the day is literally just being reinvested into getting better results for my students. Not because I don't want to buy a house and save a bunch of money, but because I know that doing that now will just make me make more money in the long run. And I know how powerful that's going to be. And I know everyone will tell me you should invest that money into the S&P and get, build a passive income stream over the next few years. But I'm not really interested about that, because I know that it's way higher ROI to invest in myself, my students, and the things that I truly have control over investing into companies that I can't really do anything about. So that's kind of the way I spend my money. And in terms of my goals, long term, it's very simple. By the age of 26, I'd say, I want to have a really big farm either in the south of Spain or Italy, probably. I want to start thinking about having kids and building a family. I want to have a few animals, and I want to live a very peaceful, chill life. I never want to have to think about money again at that point. I want to be 26. I want to have bought my farm outright, build it from scratch, and I want to never have to think about the price of anything or for that matter, I don't want anyone around me to have to think about the price of anything ever again. That's my goal. That's my main goal now that I have money. Do you see yourself doing this long-term, or is it a stepping stone? Appointment setting was always a stepping stone, right? And it should be for you too. Appointment setting isn't the thing that's gonna make you 100K a month, or the thing that's gonna make you a millionaire, or the thing that's gonna make, you know, life-changing money where you can start buying houses for your family and things like that. But appointment setting is that one thing where you will basically get your first taste of real freedom. It's gonna give you the amount of money that you need to start traveling, that you need to start paying for dinners for people. It's gonna give you the amount of money you need to actually start living a life that feels true to you. And for me, that was the biggest thing. And now obviously I'm coaching people, I'm teaching people how to do it as well. And all those people, I see them using that as a stepping stone as well. Some of them move on to management, they move on to closing deals, and they become better people, and they live a life that they truly appreciate and that they actually chose for themselves. And that's the thing that appointment setting gives you, in my opinion. Okay, this is the last question. How much money do you have in your bank account? Well, I didn't specify which, so I can show you one of my bank accounts. On this account here, I have 4,000 euros. I'm not sure you can see it at the camera, but I have 4,101 euros for those who are interested. But yeah, I've been spending too much money. But yeah, I think that wraps it up. I think those are the 10 questions that came off the most from that Instagram post. I couldn't answer all the 60 questions, obviously, because I only have limited time to get this done. But I hope this gives you guys a little bit more of an idea of what I've been up to, what I do with my money, who am I, who was I as well. And yeah, as per usual, if you are watching my videos, if you want to build a life that's true to yourself, like I said in the previous question, you can always check the link in my bio, book a call with me or my team, just to see if it's even a fit, just to see if it's even something that you could potentially do, right? You're not committing to anything, you're just committing to giving yourself a chance to change your current situation, and only if that's something that you want to do, obviously. But if it is, then go check out that link, book a call, we'll have a quick chat, and if we can help you get results like Alex, Sam, Joe, Omar, who are all making over 5 to 7K a month with appointment setting after a few months of working with me, then we'll be more than happy to help you out and see if we can do the same thing for you. And with that, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.